What up, YouTube? It's True Feltman here, coming at you with some Kozmo plays. Combos, yeah, something like that, yeah. Seen a lot of people have been asking about some stuff to do, and recent development with Pepe being absolutely annihilated. I think people are going to be moving to Kozmo now, so...
Finding how to use this card mainly.
This card? What is it? Soartrooper? Yeah, people think the card is really bad or a one-off. It like makes plays. It's really good. Anyway, I'll let Daniel explain it. We'll get into it.
Yep. So first we'll start off with like the locations that you need to have cards to combo off. So the most important cards to have access to are these, obviously, and town.
Yep.
I'll show you the basic opening play that you want to be looking for every time. If you have E-Tally, that's a different play. I'll show that as well, just after I show this. But like the general combo that you want to be having every time is a pilot, it doesn't matter which one, and destroyer.
Yep.
So you summon the pilot, use its effect, tag for destroyer, and kill the destroyer, summoning Strawman, and you bring back the destroyer, and then in the end phase it dies and summons another Tincan. And then you get your search, and you have 2 pilots, so you can make plays on your opponent's turn.
And back row set, all that. Yeah, too easy.
Sets up Call the Hornet.
Yeah, so now you got 2 pilots. If you have another ship in hand, you've got 2 ships in hand because Tincan will add another one, or add in whatever you want, and yeah.
If you have a pilot, it's almost always correct to have the 2 pilots out of the destroyer. So yeah, and I'll just show you what you do. If you have E-Tally now, if you have E-Tally, you activate it, summon Tincan. Let's assume you also have Kozmo Town, so that's the ideal hand. You banish it, summon Destroyer, same thing as before. Summon Strawman, bring back the Destroyer, activate Kozmo Town, and then normal summon the Tincan, which you can add back.
Yep.
And then you end with a double Tincan field, and you can send 6 cards and add 2 of them.
Yep.
Which is the dream hand.
And then if you have Call of the Haunted set, like you should be if you're running a Tincan Turbo, you essentially have multiple cards, multiple ships to summon next turn, and cards in hand as hand traps.
So essentially if you open those 3 cards, you basically use 3, 4, 6 cards, which is pretty good.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you about locations you want cards. So you always want to have a destroyer banished at all times. Even if you don't have town, you want it banished in case you get to town. The reason for this is you always want to be able to get to any pilot in the deck, and you can just add the destroyer from the banisher into your hand, banish pilot, and kill itself and get anything from the deck.
Yep.
The next thing you actually want to get to after you've got destroyer banished, which should be first turn if you didn't break, is Slip Rider. This one's a little bit more difficult to get into the banish zone, but if you have this banished, you can make basically an infinity player, assuming you have town, which generally will win you the game next turn. So you want to have these 2 banished as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's just town is obviously the heart of all combos, so we'll just assume you have town for all these combos. The next thing, Strawman. You want to get this out of the deck as fast as possible, and that's why we do it in our opening turn, because you don't want to draw this card, and you want it either in the grave or banished zone. Preferably I like it banished because then you can levier it back without using a summon, but in the grave is just fine as well. It's also not bad to add your hand when you normal summon it and special summon and other shit.
Yeah, and then summon a Soartrooper if you need to, and just make super amounts of plays depending on what you've sent and what you have in your hand, yeah.
So this card out of the deck in the grave or banished.
Yeah.
Tincan, it doesn't matter where this card is, just use it and dump stuff. The next thing is Soartrooper. So you want this always in the grave. It can be used in the banish zone, but it comes up rarely and you pay a lot of life points when it's banished, so in the grave all the time. The next thing is Destroyer and Slip Rider. Generally these are always wanting to be banished, but if you have a Call of Hornet, you want to get them in the grave.
Yeah, no, you already did those ones.
Yeah. And Farm Girl, get it in the grave as fast as possible as well.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because you're aiming to get the Soartroopers to the hand as quickly as possible so that you can make the double Soartroopers in a Levier or double Soartroopers into a rank that you need, and then you can also then add the Farm Girl back when you make before you make the rank, so that way you have, you go 3 card plus.
Yes. Okay, so a lot of the time, let's assume you set up your grave and you did the 2 Tincan play and you have a number of ships in the graveyard and you sent these 2 cards. And you banished a Strawman in their turn and have a Slip Rider and Destroyer banished. If you have Call the Haunted in the end phase and you didn't use it, then you want to activate this thing and let's say you bring back a Slip Rider. You want to kill the Slip Rider by targeting the Call the Haunted, killing it.
Yep.
And then bring out a Tincan, dump some more stuff, add a card, and then in your turn, you've got a pilot already on the board, so you basically have 2 normal summons. So now I'll show you how to make an infinity board. You'll use town to grab Destroyer back, always. And if you have Soartroopers in hand, you banish your Tincan for Soartroopers. And bring back your other Soartroopers. And then you want to bring back either, if you have Farm Deal, you can, but let's just assume you don't here, because that'll make it more interesting. So you want to overlay the Soartroopers for your Leviers. Bring back your Strawman effect. Bring back your Slip Rider, and then banish this. Push summon your Destroyer, and then special summon another Slip Rider from the deck. And now this is where a lot of people don't seem to know what to do. With this Slip Rider, you just summoned off Strawman, you want to kill your own Kozmo town.
Yeah.
And then with that, you want to add another one. The reason for this is because you can grab back a Destroyer, or if you wanted to combo off further and make like let's say a F-Zero play, you can not add town, and you can add another Soartrooper, because we haven't used our normal summon yet. Let's say you add Soartroopers in here because you're going for the OTK. Let's say they have one ship and no back row, which happens quite a bit in the mirror. So you'd overlay for your Infinity. And normal summon your Soartroopers. Use the effect. Bring back Soartroopers.
That's 4.
Overlay for your second Levier. Use its effect. Push summon your Strawman that we banished earlier.
Yep.
And then bring back our Destroyer
again.
And if you have any card in hand, this is basically game. You're going to overlay these for F-Zero. And then you'll see how you have 4 monsters now. You'll attack their Destroyer or whatever they have, take it, and then gain it.
Yeah.
He was here.
Generally, you'll be going for an Infinity board with Soartroopers and some combination of Leviers and Destroyers on the board. But this is generally like the cleanest line of play, and it's how you generally utilize the Soartroopers. I'll just quickly go over the Tincan order with what you send first.
Yep.
You won't. Another good thing about with this deck now that Pepe is gone is you're no longer under much pressure at all. Like, so you can start sending like pilots earlier.
Yeah.
Before you always had to send like Destroyer and stuff to survive. So let's assume you have Tincan and your Strawman, which is like 90% of the time you're gonna have this board. The first things you always want to send is the following 3 cards, unless your opponent is playing a trap heavy deck in which you'll send a Clip Slot. But generally these cards are at the heart of the combos, and I'll explain why. You want to have this to your hand or set up your Caller Horned. This does a similar thing. You can pop a back row or your town and add Destroyer. And this card is very important to send first. If you add this to your hand, let's say they Stormfort your Strawman and battle phase and kill your Tincan with the big heavenly bitch. Next turn you can bring back your Strawman and perhaps bring that Destroyer back you used to combo first turn, and now you have a board to work with here.
Yeah.
So Soartroopers is always one of the #1 cards you want to send. The second Tincan after sending your first Soartroopers and the ships should always be another Soartroopers. Generally I choose a second Slip Rider, but you don't have to. The Farm Girl. And if Strawman isn't out of the deck yet, choose Strawman, or if you don't have Town, choose Town. Or if you don't have anything else to send, I send another Destroyer, because it's literally both of these cards anyway.
Yeah. You always want to leave one Soartrooper in deck at least. That way you can toolbox it out with the Dark Destroyer. Otherwise, sometimes if you send too many, you're going to be finding that you actually can't make any Soartroopers plays because they're all in your graveyard and you're stuck.
Yeah, additionally, Slip Rider is something you have to be really careful with sending, because if you have 2 in the graveyard, you lock yourself from Infinity, which sucks, because it's like a win condition in itself. So never have more than 2 Slip Riders in the grave unless you absolutely have to try and add it. Another thing is, a lot of people don't seem to play this card. This card is really, really good. If you, like how earlier we didn't use our normal summon yet, you can actually just clear a back row with that special summon Soartroopers, and then just summon another Soartrooper and bring it all back. So you should always treat this is like your Diamond Direwolf, essentially. Also, the last thing I'm going to go over is the OTK. It's quite a few cards, but a lot of people don't know it for some reason. Basically, it's any pilot, E-Telly Kozmo Town. It kind of looks like a brick. A lot of people would just be like, oh, shuffle 2, use my E-Telly. But if they don't have a board, you just summon your pilot. It doesn't even matter what it is. Let's just say it's Strawman, the shittest one. So you Strawman, you go activate your town, battle phase, attack, mostly teleport for Farmdale, which is in here. We'll just use this as Farmdale. Attack, add a destroyer. Then you want to tag your Strawman. Slipper to kill that, add another destroyer. And then obviously tag, and then just go for any pilot, and then keep going, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like an OTK, which you don't see very much. But yeah, always remember you can pop your own town to add destroyers in your opponent's turn if you have a Slip Rider, and get as many pirates on the board as possible, because that's how you beat Monarchs. There's no other way to beat Monarchs, because they're just going to Stormforce you one thing and kill you.
Yep. So make a lot of pilots, and
lots of pilots.
They can't deal with it.
Yeah, dump the correct things, and you should be lit, fam. So, yeah.
Crazy. Thank you, Daniel, and yeah, make sure you guys check out my deck profile. I'll be making another one. Daniel and I both topped at our local box tournament on Monday.
Yeah,
we're running basically the exact same deck, so we just drew in the last round to save time. Yeah, it was a 4-0 for both of us, so I'll put up a deck profile for that. Yeah. And yeah,
it's tough competition as well. All of our players are from top 32 YCS every year, so
it's a pretty decent. Yeah,
it's not like insignificant, but yeah, cool.
Alright, cool. Thanks, guys. Catch up.